After more than an hour of fending off police gunfire and unsuccessfully trying to commit suicide 4 times, suspected armed robber Godfrey Josi, 41, and his wife Juliet Gavaza, 36, succumbed to the heat and were arrested at their Damofalls home last weekend. In a classic Bonnie and Clyde style, the couple committed a spate of robberies since 2017. A crack team comprising of over 30 law enforcement agents led by the Criminal Investigations Department, the CID, had to break into the house and shoot Josie in the leg to subdue him. With his house surrounded by the gun-toting crack team, Josie unsuccessfully tried to commit suicide 4 times as the pistol he had wanted to use to shoot himself in the head failed to discharge. A relative who was in the house when the shooting occurred told the City Times. Josie, along with his wife and 5 other gang members, have since appeared in court charged with more than 25 counts of armed robbery, kidnapping, and unlawful possession of firearms. The gang allegedly amassed over 300,000 US dollars from their 4-year reign of terror, with Josie and Gavaza understood to have acquired a number of properties worth about 75,000 US using their share of the proceeds. The couple apparently purchased a 4-roomed house in Budiro for extension in Harare for 20,000 US dollars, a 7-roomed house in Zengeza 5 Chitungwiza valued at 36,000 US dollars, residential stand in Murewa for 2.6 US dollars, and a 2.5 hectare plot at Kent Farm in Mondoro. They reportedly bought an Isuzu KB300 truck, a Mercedes-Benz, 2 Honda CR-Vs, and 10 cattle in Headlands. Josie's uncle, who says he only discovered his nephew's criminal side last week, witnessed it as it happened, and he was in the house when the police swooped onto the notorious suspect. He said Josie and Gavaza first met in Headlands, Kiendambuya area before moving to Murewa after getting married. Back then, they were struggling even to buy food, and I was giving them handouts time and again, he said. They later moved to Glenora in Harare, where I was also staying at the time, and I believe that is when they met people who recruited them into crime. After a rapid change in fortunes for Josie and Gavaza, the uncle said he got suspicious about how their source of wealth, but he had no evidence to confront his nephew. One day I asked about his nature of business, and he said he was now a car dealer who owns many car sales, he says. Their life was changing rapidly, and my request to visit some of the car sales was brushed aside. On the night of the raid, Josie's uncle says he had just come from his rural home in Chendambuya, where he is now based. He said when he arrived, there was nothing suspicious as the couple went about their errands normally. When I arrived, Josie was not at home and his wife was just about to leave for Masowe for a church service, said the uncle. When the couple returned, we enjoyed a bottle of whiskey together with 2 other relatives and retired to bed. At around midnight, we heard gunshots around the house, and when I went to take a look, I realized that the house was surrounded by the police. The police ordered Josie to surrender, and it is understood that is when he told his uncle that all was not well. I saw him coming out of his room holding a pistol, saying, "Jadakwa, it is falling apart." He pointed a pistol to his head and tried to shoot himself. He tried to shoot himself at least 4 times, but the gun failed to fire. I don't know if it was loaded or if he was failing to operate it. After realizing that the police had broken into the house, Josie later dropped the gun and surrendered. The uncle said he strongly suspected that Josie used black magic in his criminal operations, as some mysterious bits and pieces were discovered in his bedroom. The police later went away with Josie that night, and two police officers came back the following day with Josie and his accomplices. They called Juliet to come and produce the materials used by her husband and ordered him to burn them. The materials were just the kind that is associated with black magic. Juliet was also arrested and taken into police custody. One of Josie's neighbors, Mrs. Rutendo Kafesu, said Josie and Gavaza kept to themselves and rarely entertained neighbors. We saw them going out and coming in, but we just thought they were living their own life, she said. They were staying as a family, but it was their young daughter who we knew more, as she used to play with our children. They were driving different kinds of vehicles, and it was evident that they were wealthy. Mrs. Kafesu said on the night that Josie was arrested, the community thought there was a robbery in progress due to the gunshots. We later learned from a community WhatsApp group that the police had come to arrest Josie for robbery. Another neighbor, Georgina Mlilo, said she has always suspected Josie and Gavaza's wealthy lifestyle was sponsored by crime. I suspected that they were dealing in drugs or something illegal because they drove new and expensive cars now and again, she said. On the night of the raid, the scuffle lasted almost 2 hours with repeated gunshots. A vendor who operated near Josie's house, Ms. Rosemary Navira, said she had assisted the couple to get the rented house that they live in. I was the one who accompanied them to the house, which they were now staying in. When their landlord agreed for them to move in, they paid 600 US dollars cash for the full house. But strangely, they did not occupy it for 2 months. The landlord later came to me and said the couple was paying the rent without a problem, but was concerned that they seemed to lack any track record. I didn't really know them, even though I assisted them. Jose revealed to the police that his accomplices were Zvido Zvashe Zuda, Peter Mshipe, and Valentine Mutasa, who are now all in custody. Decide Rice of Devon Farm in Kadoma, who is still on the run, and the now deceased Benjamin Craig Musasa and Richard Mutanga.